It's a Wee Natter. I'm Mark Steele, and sitting across from me is...
Jenny Steele.
Yes, and we are joining you on the week where apparently Boris is making a comeback.
No, I can't believe that.
Well, to capitalise, because I'm thinking, got to make a bit of cash out of this, I've been getting a whole bunch of Yeltsin mugs and T-shirts printed, now available on the Solid Radio website.
What mugs? What mugs?
Boris Yeltsin.
Boris Yeltsin, oh. It's not Boris Yeltsin.
Oh, okay.
It's Boris Johnson.
I've either blown a whole bunch of cash, or we're going to have to call them retro.
Oh, dear.
Can we flog them as retro gear?
Yeah, I think we can.
Do you think they'll still
I think they probably prefer Boris.
Yeah, and moving on very swiftly to the post bag. We've still got here, despite the strikes and the possibility of losing 10,000 jobs and all that. But previously on a Wee Natter, we asked a question. You can give one non-flying animal, apart from humans, the ability to fly.
Yeah.
Which animal did you choose to maximise chaos? That's an odd question, isn't it? Well, Matthew Summers has been in touch and said if spiders had wings, they would do a better job of eliminating flying beasties, which would be a bonus. But the chaos would be to people like Jenny. She would be having nightmares.
I would.
And defo wings for cats. This is all nightmare fuel. This is what this is. So if you're planning on sleeping tonight, dear listener, we can only apologise. And on that note, let's have a Wee Natter. This is going to sound like an absolutely strange, bonkers, whatever you want to call it, question, but I'm going to open this up to you, dear listener, and you, Jenny, as well. What are the most boring parts of the week for you? In an average daily, I suppose not daily week, but weekly week, what are the most boring parts of it for you?
Every day.
Charming, you're sounding like Morrissey there. That's, upbeat that is. How about the supermarket shop?
Yeah, supermarket. I've got to say the supermarket shop. I don't like it at all. I get bored as soon as we arrive in the car park because you try and struggle to get a parking space, don't you? And then you go in and you're already struggling with people down the aisle trying to get your trolley and avoid being crashed into.
You're onto something there. Now, for me, as a big lad, I love the results but not the doing. If I'm honest with you. But one of the biggest problems is, as you state, Jenny, and you might even be shouting at me, dear listener, about, is people stopping in the middle of aisles.
Yeah.
Spending 20 minutes picking which Findus crispy pancake flavour they prefer. Clearly it's the cheese filling, usually delivered in molten form, burning the roof of your mouth off. I've made a decision for you. You don't need to spend 20 minutes staring at them in the frozen aisle from the middle. It's never from the side, it's from the middle.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's vision problems and don't want to pay for glasses, leaning back so far, 6 foot back. But people spend a long time deciding, or even just stopping in the middle of the aisle, and even worse, bumping into a mate you've not seen for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that happens, there's no chance of getting past the blockade, is there?
No, there isn't. No.
Yeah, so off the back of that, I've been thinking about how do we solve the problem of the supermarket aisle being blocked? And I've come up with it. It's a genius solution. Supermarket fast lanes.
Didn't you talk about that a while back?
It's been an idea I've been brewing and workshopping for a while now. So what it is you have a clearly marked lane down the middle of the aisle. I would say red, green, it's a big, strong, bold colour. And you cannot go less than 2 miles an hour down it. If you're not moving, a robot pops out from behind the chocolate oranges and forcefully pushes you out the way.
I like that.
What do you love it?
I'd like to be that robot.
Yeah. It would be fun, but I could imagine all the lawsuits that would fall out from all the injuries as the robot just went, yoink, get out of the way. So I might have to go back to the drawing board on that one. But if you've got a better solution than that, dear listener, do get in touch. It's at Solid Radio UK or at Solid Sooty on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever other platform you happen to find us on.
So I've just been thinking about this one, Mark. I don't know yourself or probably the listeners out there have ever ordered something online and then it gets delivered by a courier, and some couriers let you track them, don't they? If you get the app, you can track them and you can see. So if you're like number 28 or 29 and the driver is currently on number 1, and you get like a little road map as he goes to his different drop-offs and gets closer to you.
You could go full creepy stalker on the driver as he's slowly approaching with your package. I've seen that before. I know where you're coming from, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I like to keep an eye on my tracking just to see, whereabouts he is and everything. And every time you look, you get a bit impatient, you're excited for whatever you're having delivered. He's only moved like 1 or 2 and you think, oh, this is going to be absolutely ages. And then you need the loo. You're dying for a wee, let's say. So you think, look at it again. Nah, no, miles away. I'm fine. So you go upstairs, you go to the loo, and then you can't be. So you look back on your little app. You're next. That's what it says. You're next. And he's there. He's arrived at the door, and you think, you've arrived. I thought I had plenty of time, and now I'm on the loo. So I thought this could be reciprocated a bit. So it could be that he's told you that, or the app shows you that he's there at the door ready to deliver your parcel. But why can't we have something that says, yeah, you're like there, but Jen's here, and I could have like a Mrs. Hinch emoji cleaning picture or like a toilet picture so they could see that.
So hang on,
you're there, but I'm here.
So you want to put on an app the fact you're on the toilet, which sounds utterly bizarre when you think of it that way. But I know what you're trying to say. And it's almost like they're psychic with, and this is any delivery company in the world, any delivery person, it's almost psychic. It's like they know that you have to step out and get milk or go to the toilet. There is something that's going to take you away from being able to answer the door. And that's the moment they deliver.
Yeah.
But I wonder if you could fool the system. So when you want them to turn up quicker, you pretend that you're going out to get milk, or you pretend that you're going out to the toilet.
But you're not really.
And then, their psychic ability is fooled, and then they go, oh no, and they turn up and you're able to answer the door.
See, I would liken that tracking to like somebody planting one of those, like, the air tags that you can get. That kind of keeps a track on you. But if somebody like planted an air tag on me, my little map would just show kind of a multitude of Costa and like other coffee shops. And then I thought, do you know what? I could flog it as a tour guide book, like Walk Your Way Around the Great Outdoors by Jen.
So you want to sell it's going to appear in coffee shops if we're honest.
Yeah.
A sort of walking guide.
Yeah.
Based all around going from coffee shop to coffee shop. Because I know there's books out there that go pub to pub.
Yeah, but coffee shop to coffee shop, can you imagine that? A mixture of tea rooms, Starbucks, Costas, so everybody gets a bit of a hand in there, and I'm liking that.
I don't see any potential problem with that one. The only thing missing is you can't get a pint at a coffee shop. In case you've not looked outside in a while, dear listener, it is that time of the year. The leaves are turned red, they're brown, and they disappear as well.
Yeah.
Where they go, nobody knows. Maybe into another dimension. Nights get longer, and spooky tat is absolutely everywhere.
It is.
Yes. It also means we're getting closer to the big C.
Oh.
And Jenny wants to announce something we're doing for the C this season.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And I want everybody to join in with me here. I really do. So I'm going to be testing, for your benefit, mince pies.
Okay.
I'm going to be getting a different brand every week, and I'm going to be eating them, nibbling them, whatever you like, and I'm going to be scoring them from 0 to 10 on how nice they are. Taste, texture, feel, looks, that sort of thing. Last year, Asda's, was it the extra finest?
Extra special,
Extra special. They won at work. They won anyway.
So basically, this is an excuse for Jenny to stuff her face with mince pies, but also for you, dear listener, to find out which is the best choice this year, because they do adjust them from year to year and from shop to shop, and seeing which ones are going to be the best and which ones maybe you should give a miss to. And I'm just realising who's going to be doing all the legwork on this one, because we're going to ask you to, and we're asking you now, dear listener, to start sending in your suggestions of places we should try mince pies from, acquire them from, and get them to compare on. But I've just realised who's going to do all the legwork trekking to everywhere that flogs mince pies. It's going to be Muggins here, isn't
Mark.
Yeah. So we are indeed asking you, dear listener, make sure we don't miss any. Get involved at Solid Sooty or at Solid Radio UK. Tell us what mince pies we should not miss for building the ultimate chart of mince pies for Christmas 2022. And while we're on the topic of the C word, is it just me that thinks Santa's grotto is a bit pervy? Hey kids, come down, see Santa, it is grotto. So while I was touring the shops for various odds and ends I needed the other day, dear listener, I spotted something I've not seen for sale before in this very country, the United States of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Mm-hmm. Which makes it sound quite fancy when I put it like that, doesn't it? I spotted a piñata. You know what one of those is?
Is it where you stab it and it drops things?
Yeah, so it's papier-mâché. You stuff it with something nice, like sweeties or whatever.
Yeah.
You hang it from a bit of rope, you blindfold, and the kid can smash it, and the idea is all the good stuff falls out. I think it's some Latin American thing or something like that. It's been spreading out a bit, and it looks a good bit of fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the good thing to put in them is sweeties. But I've been looking on the internet, which has ruined me, unfortunately, dear listener. And I started thinking about the question, what could you put in them to instantly ruin a party? So you didn't want to make the party go well, by putting something nice in it. You want to make the party turn sour because you hate them or something like that. Or you're having a bicker or whatever. Like you would get in the soaps.
Yeah.
What sort of thing would you think about? You got any ideas come to mind?
Just trying to think now what we do. A load of fag ends.
Load of fag. I mean, nobody would really want that. I mean, the birds would probably go for it and go line their nests or something like that. But most people are like, yeah, no, that's not great. Personally, wasps come to mind.
Oh, yeah.
They would be properly upset as well because you're barring their hole.
Yeah.
And, it'd be stings for you, stings for you, stings for everybody. Everybody gets a sting. Or even worse, I'm thinking like Matthew's message in the post box.
Yeah.
Do you know where I'm going to go with this one? Spiders.
Oh, really?
Imagine filling a piñata with spiders.
No, can you imagine that? I couldn't. No.
Oh, so I'm going to open this up to you, dear listener. What would you put in a piñata to make the party go sour rather than... It feels a bit down saying this, but I think that's where the interesting stuff is. What would you put in there if you really hated the people that were at the party was for? You wanted to ruin it. The ways to get in touch, at Solid Radio UK or at Solid Sooty on Twitter and Facebook. Or if you're listening on Spotify, there's a little question that pops up that you can answer as well. You can type your answer in there and we'll see your message. And we want to hear what you, dear listener, would put in a piñata to absolutely ruin a party.
So have you ever been in one of these little village shops and there's just yourself and maybe somebody else in the shop and you're having a look round and there's nothing in the shop that you want to buy, but you feel awkward? You don't want to walk out the shop because you feel guilty that you've come in and you kind of think, I need to buy something just for the sake of buying something. Have you ever felt like that?
Is this you trying to make excuses for having hundreds of fridge magnets by going, every time I went into a wee shop and there was nothing else I liked, I felt obliged to buy something. So I bought a big pile of fridge magnets.
I just think it's strange when you walk in and you feel like eyes are on you watching, so you feel like you need to buy something. Well, I had to buy some wrapping paper a couple of weeks ago for a birthday. And I thought, do you know what? We've not long been in this village. I thought, I'm going to have a little look round. It's got the traditional butchers, the greengrocers, no candlestick makers, but it's got this lovely little quaint card toy shop.
With blackouts coming.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
I could see them coming back into vogue.
Yeah. So I thought I'll have a look in, and it's quite tiny. So I noticed wrapping paper's right round the corner, so I'm looking at the wrapping paper, and I could feel that the guy was chatting to somebody in the shop, but I felt like my presence was there. And I'm looking, I thought, I can't find anything. It's all Christmas wrapping paper, birthday wrapping paper, congratulations, and newborns wrapping paper, that sort of thing. And I thought, I just want something, just simple one that says happy birthday. So anyway, I'm kind of looking through, and then the next minute, this voice pipes up, have you found what you're looking for? I'm turning my light off. And I'm like, turning my light off? Is that a thing around here then?
Hang on, was this a taxi or a shop you were in? Did this thing have wheels on the outside? Did they ask you where you were off to? Did he give you questionable views on the world?
It did call me young lady, so I was quite impressed there, but I'm turning my light off. I thought, is that a thing around the village then? So I said what I was looking for. And I thought, as he was talking to his mate, I thought, could I slip out unnoticed? But it was too late, because then he actually came round then and started talking to me. And I felt like one of them rabbits caught in a car headlight type thing. So I said, and he looked at it and he says, what about this one? And you're like, no. And he said, how old is she? And I'm like, I ain't got a clue. And that was the thing, I didn't have a clue how old the person was I was going to be buying for. And then by pure miracle, there was one piece of wrapping paper that I thought, that's good. It just said happy birthday. It was in pink. It had flowers on. And I thought, that's going to fit the bill. So I think, get to the till. I was going to quickly tap my card and go, because I was obviously aware that he wanted to close. It's cash only.
What?
Cash only. I'm like, oh my God, who just takes cash only these days? So I'm frantically get my purse out, drop the paper on the floor as I was doing this, frantically rummaging my purse. And do you know what? I was 5p short to pay him. And then I remember, I felt in my pocket randomly, and I found a 5p on the floor a couple of days ago. And I picked it up and I thought, well, you know, I'll put it in a charity box somehow or whatever. And I thought, I did that 5p basically, let me pay for it. And then that made me think, you know, when you always walk past and you see like a penny on the floor or 2p. My advice to you now is, if you see anything like that on the floor, pick it up, because you never know when you're going to need it.
So you're saying you're not the person that if you found the 20 quid lying in a shop would hand it into the front desk, you'd be out the door and...
What's the right answer?
It's the same answer I'd give. So this episode of Wee Natter, dear listener, is about as close to Halloween as we're going to get. So I need to put the spooky music in at this point, so you're going to hear it badly cut in.
The Solid Radio Spooktacular.
Jenny's looking at me weird because she can't hear the spooky music. But anyway, we're not talking about the films when we talk about Halloween. How many times has Michael Myers, you know, what's his name in the films? He's completely different. No, Michael Myers, how many has he survived through now? And for how many years? It's ridiculous, isn't it?
He's Halloween, isn't he? Because I get mixed up with Halloween and Friday the 13th.
Yeah, Michael Myers is Halloween. Mike Myers is Austin Powers.
Oh, gosh.
And Friday the 13th is the one with the hockey mask, isn't it? It's been so long since I've seen most of these. But this has got me wondering, how involved should we, and I'm including you, dear listener, be involved with Trick or Treat this year? So the way I see it is that there's basically two main options. Number one is give away to this GDP of a small African nation into sweeties.
Yeah.
I mean, Freddo's, you know, the main unit of inflation is measured in, you know, it must be about a tenner for a Freddo nowadays.
I remember when they were 2p.
I think they're closer to 10 quid now.
Oh.
You know, based on how much the pound's worth. Or option two is you turn your lights off, pretend you're not in, and spend the next day cleaning egg off your front door.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to do any, but I like to put my decorations up. But there's like a little untold rule that if you've got your house decorated, then you are willing to accept trick-or-treaters at your door. So I've caved in and I've been down the pound shop and I brought various bags of mix and match sweeties. But you know what I do? I'm quite clever.
All right.
You know when you get to the door and you've got a bucket full of sweeties and you all get the greedy ones that stick their hands in and try and get as much out as they can, and then you run out of sweets and they've only been going round for about 10 minutes. Wrap them up, a couple of selections in like a sandwich bag, and you hand the bags out. And that way, you're kind of limiting the sweets that they have. So they can't put their hand in and just grab handfuls out.
Yeah, so
I love kids.
You're trying to control them, aren't you? And if you're trying to reduce the amount of sweeties you're giving out, I've come up with this cunning plan, dear listener. I'm going to try out this year and report back on how it works. But I'm thinking of dressing up as one of the aforementioned masked murderers. Masked murderers, not masked murderers, although they're a bit of both. Although, for my unique twist, I'll be spray painting a Trump mask rather than a, what was it? One of the Star Trek guys from Mike Myers, wasn't it? Michael Myers.
I can't remember.
It was a William Shatner mask. That was it. That's what they spray painted that white. Instead, I'm going to go with a Trump mask.
Yeah.
just so it's a little bit different. I don't get sued by the film company. Hide in the bushes over the road.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait for people to chap on the door. Silently sneak up on them and swing a knife at them.
Ooh.
And then they'll run off screaming. What do you think?
Are we going to have the police interceptors around?
I think I'll probably be doing the next episode from a police cell. So that was, dear listener, a Wee Natter, which happens to be a podcast. And there are various ways you can get this podcast. You can go on YouTube and search for Solid Radio, and there is a Wee Natter playlist where every new episode is there. Or you can go onto your podcatcher, search for a Wee Natter, subscribe away, and you will get all the episodes of this fine podcast. If you want even more, search for Solid Radio on your podcatcher of choice, and you'll get a whole bunch of other shows we do as well, including a new one that DJ Luce is preparing for us about a late night call-in show.
Sounds brilliant.
It does sound brilliant, although I am twigging that you listen to podcasts at any time of day, so you could literally be listening to late night call-ins over your breakfast.
Well, you could do, yeah.
You could do. And you can't really do it in real time with podcasts, but she's wanting you to help the show out.
Yes.
So if there is a topic that's on your mind or something you want to get in touch with her about, you can send an email, lateshow@solidradio.co.uk, or if you're listening on Spotify, there is an option to leave a voice message, apparently.
You can for Stephen Hall as well, can't you?
Yes. Don't ask me how it works, but there is an option to leave a voice message.
Yeah.
And remember to subscribe to this fine show, A Wee Natter. Don't forget to do that bit.
Definitely. You'd missed me and you.
Yeah, who'd want to do that? And share the show with everyone you happen to come across in your life. You know, you're going down the street, you bump into the postie, tell them all about it. Or you go to the bank, you try and get money and they're refusing to give it to you. Tell them about this show.
Yeah.
You know,
I want loads of listeners, Mark. I don't know about you. I want them to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend. I want them to be big.
Oh, you want to be like one of those horrible chain letters we used to get, aren't you? You must send it on to 10 of your friends or bad things are going to happen. Ooh. We're not going to threaten you.
No.
Don't worry about that.
I just want my posse behind me.
You want a posse?
I want my posse.
On that note, this is a Solid Radio production and we'll catch you next time.